Greetings everyone and welcome back to Nariam's Let's Play Minecraft version 1.12 featuring Daryl 20's mod pack. This is episode 21. Really quickly, I just wanted to show we've got 65,000 spruce wood here, so we're definitely not using as much spruce wood as we're producing. I did go ahead and basically disable the output of this um, energy cube, and so we are solely powering our base off of the advanced generator here. I made a whole bunch more manual between episodes, and we could add some more to that, but I think this episode and probably the next episode or two are going to be devoted to building our nether base. So I have a design in mind, and um, we're going to go to the nether and we're going to try it out. So right now we have the basically one chunk large cube there. We're going to demolish most of the walls and ceiling of that, and then uh, do some other stuff to make that start having a real sort of first floor and the subsequent floors. There's a couple of decisions that I'm going to kind of talk through as I go through them, and we will go from there. Um, I actually have thought of a solution for the whole water in the nether problem, which I think is fairly ingenious, and I'll talk about it when we get down there. First of all, though, I want to point something out. There's a mod called BlockCraftery. So if we pull open our JI here at BlockCR, it adds these framed blocks. Basically, what you can do with these is you can put a block on one of those frames, and it uses the texture of that block. So, for example, let's say I had some black quartz blocks. Now, uh, quartz. If I take black quartz, oh, I had it in my inventory, that's why it didn't work. Okay, so if I take 4 black quartz, I can turn it into a block. If I then put a block in there, I guess I can't just turn it back, can I? Black quartz. Is there a way to turn this back into regular black quartz? I guess not. Here I thought I was being clever. All right, well, now that we got the block of black quartz, we have quite a bit of it. So we've got 400 here, and then we have another 3 plus stacks of the ore in my little ore thing there. So no worries. And we don't do a whole lot with actually additions, so we don't need a whole lot of this. But let's say I wanted to make some stairs, right? So I've got my BlockCraftery, right? I could just make stairs out of these, but the problem is once I make the stairs, and I'll do this once, there's no way to get it back, right? It's stairs forever. So let's grab, whoops, just a stack of that, use a bunch of my black quartz. Instead, what I could do, because you can use this to do some other stuff too, right? So you can make black quartz slabs. You can make fence or walls. You can make chisel block of black quartz, right? All these other things that you can do with this. So I'd like to not permanently change it into stairs if I can. The way to avoid that is using this BlockCraftery mod. So let's make a few of these reinforced frame blocks. We'll just make a bunch. And then let's use these and turn them into reinforced stairs. So I put this wherever I want it. Let's say I wanted to make this look a little fancier. I could do something like this, right? And then what I can do is I can right click on the thing there, and you get the texture of the block. Now, I do not think this works with connected textures. So for example, if I were to put 3 things here, and then, whoops, I guess glass does not work with them. Well, let's grab something else then. Let's grab some andesite. Let's grab our chisel and check it out. There's a CTM, or connected texture circular. So what this should do is this should create this border around all of the blocks that are all together. Okay, so if I put these on the wall here, notice how it looks, right? However, if I put these in here, it doesn't connect them. That's because it's not actually the block, right? It's the reinforced frame block underneath with the texture of the block that you added to it. But it doesn't know to look to the next block over and say, oh, you're also the same texture, I should do that. Whereas these do that computation. So just something to keep in mind. The frame blocks let you put things like, you know, really any sort of block that you want as part of the frame there. And what's nice is it adds those angled blocks. So if we look, it adds these things, right? The slants and the outer corners, the inner corners, that kind of thing, slabs, the whole works, right? Which really is kind of nice because, you know, these don't otherwise exist. So, you know, if you want to make designs that have nice, smooth, angled edges, that's the way to go. And we'll use a bunch of those. I do need to make more. So we need more iron nuggets, evidently. Let's put a whole bunch of iron nuggets in there. And then make more of these. So, can I get a full stack? Awesome. And then I think really the one I'm going to want the most of, so let's see how many of these I can make. Hey, another stack. Is going to be these. So that should, whoops, should do that. There we go. Okay. Because I like using stairs for accents. We might try a few of these. Let's see what we can get. We can get 52. All right. Let's make another stack of the reinforced frames if we can. Awesome. And that should do it for us. We'll if we need more, we can always make more. All right. So I've cooked up a bunch more iron here. Can throw those in there. There we go. I'll stick another stack of iron ore in there. That's what I was kind of doing before we got started here. So I've sort of put together a bunch of materials for building. That's all in my satchel here. I've got, well, I shouldn't say it's all in my satchel, but mostly in my satchel. I've got sandstone. Sandstone has some neat accent things that we can use. I got some glass. Oh, and I've been cooking up more of that clear glass, so there we go. Oops. I got a bunch of nether brick because I think nether brick looks nice, particularly in the nether. So one of the things in the nether you're going to want to probably use a lot of are warm sorts of colors. So browns, rich browns, dark, you know, reds, that kind of thing, because it goes well with the orange lighting. The obsidian may look good. It's more purple, so it's more of a cool color. Similarly, the black marble and the white marble we're gonna have to check that out. The infused wood should look fantastic, and I also made a little bit of this vibrant infused wood. This you have to do in the Starlight infuser. So after about 5 minutes of clicking on that black, I was like, okay, I'm done. But otherwise, then we got some more quite clear glass. I brought some liquid starlight with us, and we may use some liquid glowstone as well. And in fact, let me make a reservoir for that. So in case you didn't know this, when you place a liquid glowstone block in the world, instead of falling down, it falls up. So it can do some interesting effects. For example, you can have your ceiling be a pool of glowstone, and it will give off light, so if the ceiling is fairly low, it will light up most of the room, um, which is kind of a cool effect. But these are just some things that we can do. I've done like a column of glowstone before as a lighting source. Um, those are kind of neat. So I'll keep this reservoir sort of in reserve for that. So we've already got some liquid starlight. We've got water, which we can't use. We've got lava, and then we'll get some liquid glowstone because there's a couple of places that I know that have source blocks for that. Okay. Let's head to the Nether. Nether base, set, and teleport. All right, so the first thing we're gonna do, we're gonna pick all this stuff up for now, but we're also gonna find the center of the chunk. So let's demolish our walls here. We don't really need those. And if we hear any ghasts, I'll probably be a little annoyed because we went to all that effort to turn off the ghast spawns. But we'll see what happens. So I did a little searching online, and I think that ghasts won't shoot at you even if you're like behind glass. As long as there's blocks intervening, they pretend they can't see you. Oops, I meant to leave that particular column of cobblestone. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. And then let's get this bit. All right. So right now we have a 16 by 16 thing. I actually don't want 16 by 16. I would much prefer to have 15 by 15. The reason for that is you can have a block that is a single block that is the exact center, as opposed to a 2 by 2 square that's the exact center. And since we're going to use some cool effects for transmitting power and things like that, I'd rather have a single block as the exact center of the room. So if we look at this, oh, ghast, great. Where are you? Well, I'm not gonna mess with that right now. If we look at this, so we've got 3 blocks here, 3 blocks here, 4 blocks, 3 blocks, 3 blocks. So this right here, these 2 blocks, and I'm actually going to sort of do that. These 2 blocks mark the center, and it looks like we got the same thing going on here. So 3, 3, 4, 3, 3. Perfect. Okay. So what that means is 1, 2, 3, 4 are our possible choices. So those are that's the 2 by 2 exact center of the chunk. What we're going to do is we're going to leave one of these columns, and we're going to reduce the other sides by 1. So let's use this corner as the anchor, which means all we need to do is come through here and grab these. There we go. Oops, I went a little overzealous there. That's okay. Actually, I don't really need to replace these with cobblestone because we're going to start using better materials here pretty much immediately. Let's just go to single block. There we go. All right. The next thing we need to decide is if we're going to leave lava beneath the tower. I've got a couple of schools of thought on this. One is leaving the lava beneath the tower will allow us to have floor lighting on the first floor. This certainly isn't necessary, but it is kind of nice. As you can see, the glass in the floor there will work as lighting, and we can just let the lava light the first floor. I'm not entirely sure we want to do that. I think having the lava, the orange lighting come in from the lava lake outside is fine. And actually, when we make small platforms or platforms off the side that we want to have other things on, I think that's a good idea. But I'm actually kind of thinking that we might want to fill in the stuff beneath the first floor. What that will allow us to do is actually have a basement if we want it. And we don't have to do it for the whole thing. So for the other thing I was going to mention is that now that we have this one is the exact center. So let's go ahead and pick the rest of those wisps up. Hey, you were supposed to not spawn out here. Are you not working? Prevent spawning wisp firebat. Yeah. Range 161 by 161 by 161. Wow. Show that range. That's enormous. Look at that. The thing must have spawned outside of this range and then come to us. Now the gas there doesn't surprise me. Because like I said, they can see from so there we go. Killed him. There's another firebat. A pair of them. Oh, they're just gonna be a nuisance, I think. Back to my train of thought. So, I think we're gonna extend this out a little bit. What I'm thinking is actually going the full 3x3, but rounding the edges. So this would be a kind of a roundish tower, or if you want to think of it like a rounded octagon. And that would give us a little more room each floor to have things off to the side or something like that. I'm not married to that idea, so if we would prefer to have a little bit of a narrower tower, now okay, so drawbacks to making it wider, right? So having it go out another 15 blocks this way and then kind of curve around, is that in order to actually look like a tower, it's going to have to be a pretty large, or a pretty sizable height. With just this 15 blocks like this, we could probably make it look pretty good without having to go too tall. So that's one consideration. Let me think here while we're doing this. I'm going to go ahead and exchanging gadget that glass away for more cobble. There we go. And all right. So that's the center. Here's what we've got. So what we could do is basically do like a build to me underneath this. So I can't swim in lava with impunity yet. There are ways to do that. Well, let's make the first floor first, shall we? Let's do that first, and then we'll think about how we want to do this. So, or how we want to do the basement. So first of all, where are we gonna say the entrance is? This way we could have the entrance be off over there. This way we could have it be way over there. Long causeway over here. I'm kind of a fan of going from this side, mostly because I think it'd be nice to be able to sort of enter from the fortress, if you will. Let's hide the range. And let's see here. What have we got? We got right here. So I'm thinking the causeway, I want to make some glass so that the causeway is lit by the lava underneath. And then what we'll do is we'll probably do it a couple of blocks in the air, I'm thinking. So if we make it like 3 blocks in the air, then we can do like the little arches, similar to what you see here. So we can make it look kind of like this sort of arch. As it, oops, this is a bad thing to use to demonstrate this. Okay, so like this kind of arch here as the causeway, right? And these are 5 blocks wide, 3 blocks in the center. No, 3 or 4. 3 blocks. 3 blocks wide with a block on the edge. I kind of like that pattern, so that's what I was thinking of doing here. So why don't we try that? All right. This will also let us have a little bit more thicker of a floor on the first floor, which is a good thing, and I'll explain why in a little bit. Let's go 2 blocks up. 2 blocks up. 1, 2. Okay. And I think we're going to do this one out of nether brick. So let's grab our nether brick here. So we're going to do the center out of nether brick. We're going to do the either side out of glass so that we see the stuff beneath it. So let's... By the way, you know, since you have to shift right click, doing that over lava, not the greatest idea. So, shift C, I want build to me. Alright, let's see how far away we can get here. There we go. By the way, building gadgets, great way of making bridges in the nether if you need to do that. So, there we go. Now what I want is that quite clear glass. I'm going to put that on either side. So, quite clear glass, quite clear glass. We're going to use can I not do that? Oh, sad. Well, I guess I'll have to do that one by hand. Alright. Wouldn't it be nice? Note to Dyer. Integrate with EnderIO's quite clear glass. Now, I mentioned something before that, you know, like a completely monotonous same block the entire way sort of build is boring. And I stick to that. What we're going to do is we're going to set this up as sort of the basic pattern, and then we're going to embellish it, right? So we're going to take other blocks, we're going to intersperse them. Maybe nether brick, maybe something else, but we're going to use some other things to make this look a little more interesting. So this is going to be the causeway entrance to our tower. Now we might want to do some interesting things with this. For example, we might put like a drawbridge mechanism or something that, you know, a large door that we can close that will prevent access. That might be fun. What else could we do? We could do a bunch of things with this. Let's look at what other blocks we have available. Do I want to do nether brick on the sides? I could. What else do we have? I don't want to use wood. The wood will catch fire, and that just seems like a bad idea to me. I don't really want to use sandstone either, so I think we are going to go with the nether brick on the sides. But we might go with stairs instead of full bricks. Let's see here. How would that look? Let's grab some wood, which I still have a little bit of. Make a crafting table and see how the stairs would look. There we go. We have plenty of all these materials, so I'm not too worried about making a few and, you know, then changing my mind later. There we go. Now, what's pretty neat about the building gadget is that it will actually match that orientation the entire way. So if we go over here and we say build to me, we go. It puts them all in the same orientation, which is nice. Right? Alright. This looks pretty good. I like this. You know, I'm kind of thinking instead of glass on either side, doing just glass down the center. I realize that it's a little late to be making that call, but Let's grab some more nether bricks and make some more stairs. There we go. So if I wanted to do that, let's grab the exchanging gadget. We can do that one. Let's go. Oops. I guess we need more nether brick out of our bag. Okay. Let's up the range. There we go. There. Okay. Now, oh, that's not gonna work. Oh, oops. No, vertical column. There we go. There we go. Okay. So that should make our glass. To there, and then we're going to do the exact same thing we just did back here. Yeah, I think that looks a little bit better. Kind of gives you still the same, you know, lava illumination and stuff, but I think the striped look just wasn't really doing it for me. So, anyway, all right, let's continue to build to me here. One too many. Then we will. I don't think that's going to do what I wanted to do. So let's grab one, stick it on here, and again, you know, all we have to do is get this one, and then everything else will follow the same pattern. So, or it should, if I remember, if it did it correctly, maybe not. Control Z, Shift Z. There we go. All right, let's try copying that. There we go. All right, that worked. So now we come back here, get our stuff there. All right. So we've got most of the platform. Now we could do a couple things here. We could make, I think, nether brick can be made into walls, slabs, fences. I think maybe fences is the only thing we can do there, which is too bad because it would be really cool to get nether brick walls. But we could do stairs back. So in other words, we could make the thing there. Now keep in mind we have one block uphill step assist. So unless we put a 2 block high wall here, we're still going to be able to walk onto it. So if we go like I mean, just the same with the Nether Fortress, right? So if we walk onto that causeway, we can walk up onto the walls, no problem, right? It doesn't stop us. So there's no requirement for a barrier on either side here. I think the stairs actually make a nice looking wall. So if we do something like this, basically we get a kind of like a U-shaped causeway. Kind of like that. Why don't we try that? Do we need some more stairs? We probably do. Let's make some more. We can always go back and get more nether brick if we need it, or we can, go nuts on the fortress over there. That, in my opinion, is the last resort because we want to use that fortress for its, wither skeletons and stuff. Oops. Okay. There we go. Oh, come on. I had it. I had the thing on the... What you call it there? Be nice to me, Minecraft. Come on. There we go. All right. And the other side. So stick that there. Shift right click to get it to match. Head back and create. All right. So we've got kind of our entryway done. Checking out the time here, we're nearing the wrapping up point. So what I think we're going to do is, I think we're going to go ahead and use just the 15 by 15 part here. Or if we want to, we can always extend it a little bit into the other chunks. So we might do like 19 by 19 so that it, you know, it comes out here a little more. If we feel like we need the additional space inside. I don't think I'm going to go ahead and use the other chunks to around this as part of the main body of the tower, because I would like it to look a little slimmer. Get that off. Between episodes, I will make up some more nether brick because I think that's a nice building material here in the nether. And the way that you do that is smelting up netherrack. So, or like I said, you know, go and cannibalize a fortress. And then we'll talk about how to, you know, first of all, create a subfloor and why that's a good idea. For one thing, it lets you hide things like wiring, anything that, you know, people don't necessarily want to see in their houses. You can hide in the floor. We'll also be making the walls a little thicker, which I think is a good argument for extending a little bit into the other chunks. But yeah, we'll see how that goes. And I'm basically going to get rid of the cobblestone. Like we don't need this to be cobblestone. So, and I'll go ahead and get rid of the ceiling here, which again we don't really need anymore. All right. So I think that'll do it for this episode. I realize we didn't build much of the actual house itself, just the approach. But this is a good example of, you know, a way of thinking about how to do this, right? So, you know, glass to have the lava show up underneath it. And, okay, so, you know, I'm talking about accents, right? What we're going to do is we're going to go under here, and we're going to start putting blocks down here. Now, this does get a little tricky. You know, the easiest way actually is to sort of get on the thing here and then just use that. There are a couple other ways we could build these. If you recall, we used the angel block, so we do have that back in our other base, and we could use that to make good stuff. By the way, those effects that you just saw, that's the morph mod that I was talking about last episode. All right. Thanks for watching, everyone, and we'll continue building out here in the next episode. Bye.